Casemiro says that he wants to stay at Manchester United. Victor Osimhen update to Manchester United. They're going to be some of the main stories we talk about in today's transfer latest update. I'll be talking about what Casemiro said. There's some direct quotes coming in from him, and also my opinions, and let you have yours in the comments, as well as talking about Victor Osimhen to Manchester United. So Casemiro's talked to Diario AS, I think that's what it is. I think it's a Spanish outlet. He said, "I respect Manchester United and I'm very grateful. I have a year and a half left on my contract, and I'd like to fulfill it here in Manchester. I'm comfortable here, I'm happy, and so is my family. They've adapted, we speak English." He says some other things as well. He said in terms of his career, not in terms of titles, this is the best, or the first season at Manchester United was the best he's felt playing football. Now, what you can say about Casemiro is he's the ultimate professional. He probably arrives on training on time, but for me, he wouldn't be someone I'd be looking to keep. I'd be looking to get him gone. One of the first players. He said, "Looking at my career individually, my best season as a professional footballer was my first with United. I'm not saying collectively in terms of titles, Madrid's Champions Leagues at the ultimate, but as a player, I think Old Trafford saw my best version of Casemiro in my career." Now, listen, I have a lot of respect for Casemiro's career. I mean, the amount of trophies he's won, what he's done on the pitch for Real Madrid. He was very, very good at Manchester United when he came in his first season. But that's all he's really offered for Manchester United. And it's not only this season, it was last season as well, to be honest with you. He made a lot of silly decisions. He just hasn't got the legs to play in that too dynamic midfield anymore. In the games that he's played this season, what I can remember was Spurs yesterday, Newcastle, and Liverpool, as well as and Chelsea even last season. Like, he's had some, and they're the standout ones where you think, what is Casemiro still doing at Manchester United? And you have to look at expected from Manchester United. He's on 350 grand a week, one of the highest paid players in the Premier League, like surely like top 5. I know Haaland's on a ridiculous wage, but he's earning more money than some of the best players in the league, and he's not even producing that output. Now, again, that's down to Manchester United making these silly decisions when it comes to players like Casemiro. As I said, there's no doubt there's a player there in Casemiro, but he just hasn't got it enough in the Premier League, and someone I'd be looked to shipping out as soon as he possibly can. Now, the next thing, Manchester United and PSG have shown official interest in signing Osimhen this summer and have both made a verbal offer to him on contract and salary. Both teams have committed to paying the release clause. Ruben Amorim wants Osimhen. Now, I don't really trust the source where it's coming from, but listen, I think it's just been in relation to the Tottenham game. We know we're in need of a striker, and why not just throw Victor Osimhen out there a day after we've lost a big game, a relegation 6-pointer. Why not throw out that we want to sign one of the best strikers in the world? Now, Osimhen, I've had my say, he's looking like Gyökeres deal this off. He's looking like it's really Liam Delap, Cunha's up there, and Mbeumo, Jonathan David, Calvert-Lewin, Vardy. These sorts of options. So if you're going there, Osimhen would certainly be, for me, someone I look at to sign. Now, the price, obviously PSG, if they were interested, I know they have decent strikers, but if they're interested in him, he could go well to them. Just about who offers the better move and the better sort of deal. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is Giovanni Quenda. Now, Manchester United are progressing in talks to breach a pre-agreement to sign Giovanni Quenda ahead of the summer. United feel the player is worth around 33 million, whilst Portman closer to 50. Quenda is certainly keen on joining Manchester United. Now, listen, I think there's definitely a player there in Quenda. He's a player who has some very, very good talent. He's very good on the ball. He's certainly come back in that wing-back role and really have a dynamic positions with Dorgu and Quenda. I think that's something that Amorim wants to build. I think the wing-backs are a very tough position to sign, and I think Quenda certainly suits that role fantastically well. As I said, with Quenda, he's still young, so he still will make mistakes, but I think the right profile at United right now is developing young players. £50 million would be a lot of money for a 17, would be 18 by the time we sign him. But I'm sure he'd want to work with Amorim again, and I'm sure he'd be confident about joining Manchester United to be a guaranteed starter, the current position that we're in, and I'm sure he'd be wanting to join Manchester United. Now, let me know your thoughts. As I said, the £33 million does seem like a reasonable price. It is coming in from a reliable source in Ben Jacobs. So I think that does make a lot of sense. But let's see what happens on that. But that's been the latest news. Casemiro insists that he wants to stay at Manchester United. That's something that I do not want to do. Get Casemiro out of this club at all costs. He's on 350 grand a week, not performing on the pitch. Not a good enough player, to be honest with you. And is he doing enough at this Manchester United team at this current moment? No. In terms of OSIMHEN, I think that is just spin. I don't think it's actually going to happen, but I would love it too. I think we are in need of that sort of striker with that profile. Gyökeres, Højlund, Kalinander. And lastly, Giovanni Quenda. I think that deal hasn't gone away. We've been linked to him now for a long time. I think even before Ruben Amorim potentially come in. So let's see what happens. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching.